What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off.
What is going on? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland. We are Thursday morning. Thursday morning, and it feels super early today. I can't lie to you. It feels hella early. I don't know why, but I kind of didn't want to wake up this morning. Not physically wake up, like forever. I just didn't want to get out of bed. I'm going to be honest with you. So today is the day after inauguration. We have a new president in the house, new VP, and we have Namm all in the same week. So if you guys hopefully have been watching my YouTube videos, I don't want anybody from Twitch to think that it's just like, this is all I do is talk on a microphone all day. By the way, if anybody had any ties to Vitamin Water for a sponsorship, today would be a good day to recommend the channel. I'm a Vitamin Water connoisseur. Love me some Vitamin Water. So it would be great if someone could make that happen. Wake up in Cleveland every other day. It feels like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mondays and Thursdays, we do them in the morning. Wednesdays, we do them in the afternoon. Afternoon-ish. It's 12 o'clock. It's afternoon for me. For some of you guys, it's a little later. For some of you guys, it's, almost 1 o'clock right now. But for me, it's still the morning. So thank you for hanging out today. Today we have Professor VX, aka Drew Bach from Pioneer, on the stream. He's going to be demoing the Pioneer DJ. I always do that, by the way. I see Pulse in the chat. Pulse knows. I always do that. I say Pioneer when I'm supposed to say Pioneer DJ. Old habits die hard. They really do die hard. So I'm still saying Pioneer when I should be saying Pioneer DJ. But Drew will be on to talk a little bit about the S7. Now, I'd love to do a demo of my own, but I kid you not. I think I had the S7 for like 45 minutes. And they're like, give it back. So I'm so I don't have it in hand. Actually, underneath here is another competing company. The Rain 1 is underneath this table. So we're going to be reviewing that for the rest of the week to give a review on that one. But today is about the DJM S7, and if anybody has any questions about it. Now, we're not gonna ask the questions, but we're not really gonna talk about them until we get Drew on, which, by the way, I probably should invite him to the stream. Where are you? Invite. There we go. Because that wouldn't go well. That's hilarious. The moment I said that, Drew texted me. So it's one of those things. Sometimes I think Drew's clairvoyant. Come on here. Okay. All right. For the people that said we can get you Red Bull, I can't drink caffeine. So there will be no Red Bull in my system. This right here is coffee, but it's decaffeinated for the only reason that I like to have, warm liquid. I used to drink caffeine. So coffee is still a thing that I'm about, but it doesn't serve a purpose. It doesn't wake me up, doesn't do anything but coat my throat so I can talk more. The little room check in the house. And burn my lips and everything else because it's super hot right now. Let's do a little room check. Who do we have in the house here? We got mod extraordinaire, DJ Lady Beats in the house. Thank you for hanging out today. Izzy B in the house already. I think, don't you have school right now? Isn't this in school session? Shouldn't be on Twitch. You should be on Google. I don't know, with that Google Classroom. Lavish Sam in the house. Good to see you, man. DJ Ray One. Good to see you. Scruff Official. Lou Diamonds. If you just put a B in front of your name, you'd be the man. I just want to call you Blue Diamonds from now on. Philip Tan in the house. Who else we got? DJ Pulse. That's the man right there. The Elo Show. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube sounds better one day and Twitch sounds better the next. I'm just gonna let it go. Just for anybody that happens to be on YouTube. Soon you won't even know that it sounded better because I won't be posting any of these streams on YouTube until a day or two afterwards. So like I said before, there's only 12 right now, so I appreciate that, but I need everybody to move over to Twitch for these shows specifically. I'll still make the announcements. Like I'll make them on YouTube, probably on my community channel. But as far as live shows are concerned, that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, that is one of those Twitch partner rules that you cannot post simultaneously. It's actually a Twitch affiliate rule that I'm breaking right now because some things I think, hey, you know what? We can get this needs to be going out to everywhere. Where I'm not posting right now is Mixcloud. So, real talk. So I did on Sunday, I did a 12-hour stream, and it feels like forever ago right now. But I did a 12-hour stream from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. I was streaming to Twitch and to Mixcloud the entire day. I forgot I was streaming to Mixcloud. So at about, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I decided to just pull up Mixcloud. 22 viewers. 22 viewers. Not real time. 22 viewers total. 12 hours DJing on Mixcloud, and all I could muster were 22 viewers. That's exceptionally sad. Exceptionally sad. So, I still I can't even say I have faith in Mixcloud right now. I can't even do that. That would be a lie. That would be a bold-faced lie. And I'm not about lying today. This is a new year. No more lying in the house. All right. Who else we got in here? Milky 513. Back once again for the first time from Vegas. Good to see you. Good to see you. Mixmaster GNL in the house. You know, one day I'm going to actually get on the phone call with Mixmaster, which is going to happen. I've just been a little busy right now. And he's going to say, it's not Mixmaster GNL. It's Mixmaster Gunnel. And you've been saying it wrong the whole time. It's Gunnel. That's my name. Gunnel. Who else we got in here? Yeah. I made a comment to Priya and Joni about the fact that Namm started on Monday, but for whatever reason, Pioneer DJ still believes we are in a physical space and starts on Thursday. What's that about? Pulse, what's that about? I'm looking at everybody else's schedule on it because there's an app now. You get on your app, you check everything out. Like I was talking to Dazzle yesterday. It's weird. I'm glad they're having it, but it's super weird that Namm is virtual because before you would have to schedule your days like Disneyland. Like you go to Disneyland, you're like, okay, we're going to hit Space Mountain, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to run over to California Adventure, and we're going to do Tower of Terror, and then we're going to do the Incredicoaster. You have to schedule everything to make sure everything flows together. You have to do the same thing at Namm, because it'll have, DJ Angelo at the Reloop booth DJing, but then you'll have somebody on the Pioneer booth, because if you know anything about Namm, Reloop and Pioneer DJ are like right across from one another. So as long as you stay right there, you get Reloop, you got Pioneer off to the side, you have like Beat Junkies, Rain set up on the other side, you have Phase, and then you have like the 12-inch skins and all those things. You got all those people there. They're all clustered into one section. And then usually you'll have like Rain at a separate area in a small little cubby. I'm never gonna let that go. I'm never gonna let Rain in a hallway ever go for as long as I live. So you have to kind of schedule things, because you might say, oh, you know what, I want to go see the speaker section, and that's clear across the world. You got to go into a completely different area. You got to walk through the big hallway of justice to get to the area, and at that point, you might miss out on whatever else is going on. So you need to schedule things. You set your little, your little alerts to let you know when somebody's going on, and then sometimes they're just not on time. So you think that, oh, Scratch Bass was going on this time, and then really he went on like an hour before, because for whatever reason, that's when he had time. So a lot of things happen. You don't have that worry now, because yes, everything streams in real time, so you can watch a show in real time on the Namm app. But you don't, if you miss it, it's not like Namm, where you miss it and you never see it again. Namm online replays everything. So you'll always get a chance to see everything you want to see. But it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm glad it's there, but it's not the same. It's just different. It's just different. Like I was watching Mackie released a whole bunch of products, and they did like a StreamYards, and where they talked about the products, but they didn't really show the products, or it was very weird. And some people, to be fair, don't know how to stream properly. I mean, in reality, everything that we've been doing as DJs on Twitch and on YouTube or wherever else, we've been doing this for a while now. All the DJs on here, I believe are like, I believe are better than most production houses when it comes to putting on a show. So now you have to be operating at like a level that's above most people. You know what I'm saying? Because DJs now, we're like, look at the resolution on that. Why didn't he angle the camera this way? What is that about? It's just like, we're skeptics now. Why is his mouth out of sync? Yesterday I was watching the inauguration party, the evening one, and several times I was like, that's a bad sync job. That's a bad sync job. Oh, I would have definitely done this. Anyway, that's me just venting a little bit here. T-Babs in the house. Mark at the Works Lab. Hey, Mark. I'm still trying to get you on the show, man. Don't duck me. Let's make this happen. Send me a whisper. In this ear. Whisper in this ear. I don't read any whispers in this ear. This is my whisper ear right here. Send me that whisper, Mark. All right, who else we got? AMS Disco's in the house, and I see Drew in the green room just waiting to get on, so we are definitely going to bring him on in just a second. Philip Santan said, did Izzy B do the intro music? No, he did not. That's actually a song I pulled from one of the commercially licensed music that I pay for. And they do a really good job, so I use all their music. This stuff is mine. No, this is not mine. This is also from it, but I pay for it, so it's free, so I don't have to worry. Jay Book in the house. What is going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Make sure you follow Jay Book. Make sure you follow Jay. When do you plan on getting back on to streaming? I haven't seen you on here in a while. Let me know about that. Not that I question you. I'm just wondering when. You know, the intro works with what I'm doing. I'm about to cancel that subscription because I'm starting to make my own music, but I still need an intro. So I gotta figure that part out. I don't want them trying to come back and get money after the fact. All right, T Diesel in the house. That's another one of the mods. Slipstream. Who else we got in here? Who else we got? DJ Jono in the house. I know I'm backwards here, so I'm going up and going back. Lady Beats is in court. She'll be lurking. Lady Beats. I'm kidding. You do your job. Do your job. Real AK-47 in the house. Good to see you, darling. Good to see you. Make sure you follow AK-47. You know, speaking of people that have been improving their shows, AK-47 shows are excellent. She got that green screen. She's been posting up her clips on her IG, and it's looking just perfect. So follow AK-47. And if this were real life, she'd be a Namm today right now too. DJ Mighty Rel in the house. Oh, how was last night? Okay, so last night I was on Rama Rich's show called what is it called? I'm thinking of DJ Bad's Bad Decisions. It's something like that. Poor. I don't know. This is one of those things. I Mighty Rel will post it in there, but it's Rama Rich's channel where we discuss wine and and we pair it up with something. So yesterday it was go buy a pizza. I'll tell you which wine to pair it up with, and then we'll talk about it. Poor choices. Thank you. Poor choices is what it's called. And so it was myself, Rama Rich, DJ Remark, and guy, this like wine producer. I think his name was Ben, and and DJ Flips. So we were all on the show, just drinking and talking about wine and pizza and just life and making jokes and giving Remark a hard time because that's what we do. And it was actually a great time. So if you get a chance, watch it. It's Rama Rich's channel, and it was a great time. And we drank a lot of wine last night, and and DJ Flips, who didn't have any food, drank all of the wine, and he was definitely feeling it. Definitely feeling a little tipsy. Okay. Head Buster says, yep, no acknowledgement. I haven't gotten to you yet. That's the only reason. So we're about to bring him on, not Head Buster, but we're about to bring on Drew. But I want to make sure I try to get through everybody on here before we bring him on, because that's what I do. Let me check the private chat real quick. All right. Operators are standing by. Perfect. We got Scruff Official, Daniel Villanueva. I would rather buy the 7. Okay. Well, it's a good thing that you're here then. Ratbone in the house. Hey, Ratbone is always here. Appreciate Ratbone. SMC. A little bit. It's a little bit like a playlist. Okay. Head Bussa, we're not. And if that's why you're on this channel, you should probably go somewhere else. We're not going to do any. We're going to assume that you're just very emotional after yesterday's inauguration. So we're going to let that one slide. But he's the president. You're going to have to move forward now. That's the life we're in now. So it is what it is. All right. It says Bar and Rick showed the product on YouTube. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I feel like this Namm specifically, it's definitely a YouTuber's dream when it comes to products, because there's really no way of actually getting the word out. You don't have those, thousands of people walking by your product like you would at a normal Namm. Because usually, you go to Namm and you don't even release your reviews or your, first looks for a couple of days because you're at Namm and you don't really have time to do it. Either you are, here at Namm, or you're at a Namm party, or you're drinking, or you're doing a late night party, or you're at the BPM party. You don't have time. So they don't typically go out for a couple of days. Now we are releasing reviews, just like you would release them at a Namm show. So it is one of those things. Furious619 in the house. Make sure you follow Furious619. He does dope stuff too. Milky said, Mixcloud sent me the jilted lover of why don't you use anymore? What Twitch got that we don't got. Yeah. Twitch has people, and not only does it have people, it has people that actually want to be there. And I think that's the difference. If you're on Mixcloud, you have to ask people to come to the Mixcloud platform. They're typically not on the platform, and you make an announcement and then you go on. On Twitch, not only is everybody on Twitch right now, but everybody's on Twitch even when they're not on Twitch. Like, I get on Twitch just to kind of see what's going on, and I end up being on the show for a while. Next thing you know, somebody's going live. I swap over to them. It's just a different atmosphere. Mixcloud is, yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Orange Slice in the house. I think we're good. Chanel B in the house. Follow Chanel B. Chanel B has got I was on one of her streams a couple of days ago, and she's got that R&B game unlocked. This is gonna sound strangely sexist, and if you try to soundbite me, I'm coming for you. The ladies have the Twitch game on lock. Musically speaking, every time I go into one of the female DJs' rooms, the music is on point. All the time, every time. So thank you. Thank you for just being dope, ladies. All right. Let's see. Anybody else we got? All right. Let's see. DJ Siberia. Damn, phone keeps going off on my hand. Would it be horrible if you wanted to buy the S7 for the fader and non-Serato portion of the mixer? I just want to upgrade my old 56 and get something sharper on the cut. Look forward to BX's interview. All right, we'll talk about that. All right, I think we hit everybody. 85er, Mixology, Mike Feliciano. Who else we got here? Isotonic Studios. Good to see you, fam. Thanks for hanging out. See, these are Drew's people. He's got a fan base here. So I'm never gonna let that go. Leadingsley Neptune. Hey, thank you for the tip. The Rain one, I'm still reviewing. I've literally used the Rain one for about twice because of all the other stuff that's going on. Like I said, the Rain one's under this table. I'm reviewing it now. So far, it's a good controller. But I obviously the video will come out probably next week. All right. Anybody else that I have forgotten? Anybody else? I don't think so. I think we've nailed them all. As people would say, we've nailed all the important people. Oh, that's good to know. Core synth demos weren't served well by the live stream audio codec. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one especially if you're just doing it. Like yesterday, I'm not trying to name drop, so don't think that. But I had Scratch Bassett on the show on Monday, and he's actually on Pioneer stream one of these days. I don't know exactly. Pioneer just posted up their schedule. I'll pull it and post it on. But he's gonna go on, and we know that his stream and everything is great. But he texted me because Puppy he was having some issues, and it's like all of these online issues are going to rear their ugly head over the next couple of days, and a lot of people will come out of it just fine, but it's still going to happen. And if you're not prepared for it, it's going to be pretty apparent. And it's not like we haven't we haven't had a lot of time to prepare for this. Namm has been canceled in physical form for a long time. DJ Mighty Rel in the house and T Diesel in the house. No, you are not chopped liver. Oh. Dalton says, I would love the Rain 1 to split to modular with the Rain 7. I don't know what that means. I think you're talking about like a Rain 1 variant. I would love the Rain 1 to split the modular with a Rain 7. 7D? I don't know. Clarify what you're saying here. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Is DJ Primo says, is Rain letting you keep the 12s? No. Everything's going back. In fact, I already packed up the Rain 72 mixer, and the 12s are sitting here. And the only reason why I'm not sending back the 12s yet is because I'm reviewing the Rain 1, and I have to look at both the Rain 1 and the 12 mechanisms just to make sure, you know. It's one thing for them to actually be Rain 12s. It's another thing for them to look like Rain 12s and not really act like Rain 12s. So I got to test some things. A couple things have already popped up that I thought were weird. But we'll talk about that in the review. I'm not spoiling my review. Okay. You know, YouTube is where I do a lot of stuff too. So you'll have to wait for that. But I think at least at this point, I'm fairly confident in what it is and what it isn't. So that review will be coming out. What does it say? Thursday. I will DJ on this on the Check 1 ENT site over the next couple of days, and then we will have that review up probably Monday or Tuesday. Okay. All right. DELO Show says, I would love Bluetooth implemented with the S11. Yeah, I get that. Rain 1 equals Hubba Bubba. Okay. Hubba Hubba. Maybe it's Hubba Hubba like. I like it. Okay, let's go with that. Jim D, evening, man. Dalton says, like the Rain 12, but a small 7-inch version. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the Rain 1. Obviously, you probably want a different mixer. Okay, so we are definitely going to bring on the man right now because we've wasted too much of his time. He's just sitting there with his hand on his face like this, just bored. I like to make him wait. I like to push his buttons a little bit. He pushes mine, I push his. That's if you know Drew, I mean that's a part of the fun. Strictly Vintage says, where can we purchase those as used? Will they resell them? Will they resell what? Let me know. If you're referring to the products I have to send back, no, they don't. They don't resell them. I think I send them back. They clean them up again and send them to somebody else. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Let's bring on the man. But first, we obviously got to go to our commercial. DJ L35 in the house. Also, what's going on, fam? DJ Swats with the subscription. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Who else we got here? Speaking of DJ Oski with the follow. Scrub Official with the 100 bits. Thank you so much. And speaking of that, we're going to bring on our man. But first, you guys know the drill. Please pause for station identification. Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this next guest that's coming on, and I'm sure they're going to be dope, but I want to talk to you a little bit about ways to support the channel. You see, there's a lot of work that goes into this channel, and the only way to keep it going, the only way to keep bringing on new people and upgrading the sets and upgrading the intros is by you supporting me. So here's a couple of ways that you can support me, and I'm not sure that a lot of you know this. If you're new to Twitch, you want to look down right here. There's a little subscribe button. That's the easiest way to support me. It's like $5. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If we're at the bar, you're buying me a beer. If you're feeling a little more generous, maybe you want to gift somebody a free sub. If you are a Prime member, you can use your Prime membership. You get one per month. You can use that on me. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you're sitting there on the YouTube side, you can also hit that membership button right there, or you can give me a super chat and then send me off a tip. Look, I know that times are tough, money's tough, and I know that what I'm asking for some of you people might be a little too difficult. So there are other ways that you can help the channel. You can host the stream, share the stream. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, share the stream to everybody. Get the word out. That's the easiest way to help me out, and that doesn't cost you a dime. Those are just a couple of ways that you can do this. I think they're coming back, so I need to get out of here. Just remember what I said. We'll see you soon. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We do have the man of the hour, Pioneer DJs. See, I said that right. I actually said Pioneer DJ, not just Pioneer. Mojax gave me a hard time on my Flex 6 video. He was like, the first thing he was like, it's Pioneer in quotations DJ. Just get it right.
Alpha Theta Corporation. Yes.
That too. Looks like we got a hype train going. Right when Drew comes on, he garners the hype train. You guys know what to do to support the channel. Hit that subscription, throw out those points, do what you got to do to support the channel. We appreciate you. DJ Throwback with the tier 1. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. DJ Choose You with the 1 month subscription. Thank you so much. We're going to keep this going. But as we're doing the hype train, we're going to definitely get into exactly the S7. And as you can see here, Drew is more than just an S7. Drew has the CDJ 3000s. Like Drew is legitimate, and I don't have that. I just have a wood table. I'm not as blessed as Drew.
Yo,
probably
dude, you have
there's something special, something secret. It's just that's
yo,
true.
you have like one of the best setups I've seen typically, and that like you're one of the only cats I know besides me who like if we have a call, like it's a game of like, okay, what gear does he have on his desk today?
That is true. Yeah, I was trying to be respectful because I do have the Rain 1 underneath here. So I'm like, I think I'm going to keep the table up just out of respect. That's probably, yesterday I had Dazzler on, and before I brought her on the stream, we just did a little sound check to make sure her mic worked. And I was wearing a DMS hat, and she's like, "You're not going to wear that hat on the show, are you?" I'm like, to be honest with you, I totally forgot I was wearing the hat. I just threw a hat on when I got on because we were like 30 minutes early. So yeah, it's in bad form to have competing anything on the same stream. So before we talk about the S7, I did want you to answer one question.
Actually, before we go on, DJ, was it the EL show, DJ MT1?
Oh, nice. Let's see. Yeah, I kid you. I've been to Drew's home, and first off, you would be amazed at what he has done with this room. This room is all Drew. This is a very special room, and there's fans everywhere. I want you to listen real quick. Just take a listen. There's nothing. If you were in his room right now, it'd be like a tornado. He's got his sound stuff on lock. But it's a small little cozy little room, but it works. Does the job. Probably over there is some new prototype that they're going to release in 2037. That's just the way it works. So, Drew, while we are, by the way, we are now on a level 2 hype train, aka Ryan with the 100 bits, DJ Force with the bits.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Let's keep it going. Throwback with the sub. I think I already mentioned that. But if I didn't, DJ Throwback with the sub for 3 months. Thank you so much. Can you tell people exactly what you do for the company?
Yeah. So I'm part of the product planning team. Basically, we have three teams globally. We're not like a lot of other DJ companies in that like most DJ companies have like a person at the company who's the dude or dudette, who's behind the product. Like, the product lives and dies by them. All good decisions, all bad decisions, and all great ideas spring from their big brain.
Mhm.
Um, Now the problem is that like every company sells globally. So,
Right.
in some companies like we'll have like, a person, like in one country for one product and another country for another product just based upon like I guess where their products sell the most for each category.
Sure. Mhm.
But here, we have a team in the States, we have a team in the UK, and we have a team in Japan. And basically, like each one of us, like each person on the product planning team gets assigned a product. And so we come together in a group and all work together to make whatever we're making great. So we do everything from like the feature set, specification, customer research, um, you know, shout a lot to like, I guess, let people know or like to kind of win out on like what features, we think are important, especially for our own markets.
Mhm.
What's really special about it is like we're probably the most methodical company I've ever seen in the industry, both companies I've worked for and companies I've heard about from other friends working there. As far as the amount of research that we do on each product, just even for like the most minor feature sets, and as such, like we're not always like the very first on like a feature or on a product, but I think the results speak for themselves as far as like I don't know. I'm incredibly biased, obviously, but I think we're the
Sure.
best.
Um, by the way, level 2 hype train, a minute 30, we're at 3%. Can we hit level 3? Is that even a possibility? There's 140 people on the stream, 100 people only on Twitch. You mean to tell me that 100 people we can't get past level 2? Come on, guys. Support the channel. But I will say this. Obviously, being a YouTuber, I'm dealing with a lot of different manufacturers. So I do definitely see how each company runs their, whether it be resources or technology and all of these things. And Pioneer is definitely, as far as being the most together, the most responsibly sound, it's definitely Pioneer DJ. All the way from, product reviews to um, product support for YouTubers. In all honesty, like when the S7 was released, I mean, they sent us a whole press pack, and not just Pioneer DJ. In a lot of companies aren't really about make sure you say this. They will tell you the benefits or what the new products do, but we're able to do our own reviews, and I think that's important that they allow us to continue to do our reviews. But they sent us media packs with high res pictures, so we can actually show a product in not only in the light that we think it should be in, but in the light that Pioneer DJ thinks. So um, I appreciate that, because there's been some people that have sent me stuff, and it's like, "You gonna tell me anything about this product?" No, no, you just handle it. I'm like, okay, thanks. So you guys do a really good job with that. Uh, we didn't even get past level 2. That's sad, and I'm gonna blame Drew for that. That's just all Drew.
I am the
If this
worst.
were
I am the absolute
if,
worst.
if this were Tweak Music Tips, they would have had a level 14. I'm just saying. You guys need to treat me like Tweak Music Tips. I'm bringing value to the community, people. All right, so one person asked a question, and he asked earlier, so I just want to get this out there. The
Yeah.
and I always get the name wrong, so I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. The XDJXZ. That's the new standalone slash
Yeah.
record box. Or yeah, does it work with virtual DJ? Do you know?
It does. The support is not official. actually, what's really cool is um, for a while we had the same relationship that a lot of manufacturers have with virtual DJ, and that they will make they will support a product regardless of whether or not if you never talk to them, if you have no idea who any of them are, it's like just magically one day your product will be supported, and it's like
Yes.
wow.
Hmm.
Um, but we actually just launched our official DJ 1000 mapping with them. I think actually this morning.
Oh, nice.
And we had unofficial support. Obviously, I mean, heck, I watched your video a while ago on it. The good and the bad. But what's
Hmm.
cool is that now that we're working directly together, it's like if there's a problem, like Cleveland's having freezing jog wheel issues at a gig or something like that, and is very sad and does a gig log on it. They can actually holler at us, and we can figure it out together. I'm really excited. I think that it's going to be a very fruitful relationship.
On their own plane. It's 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 this weird, not so much virtual DJ against the world, but it's almost like they've had these issues of disrespect for so long that they just said, screw it. We're just going to do what we want to do, no matter what. So, like, when BeatSource came out with their streaming service and it had appeared on Record Box first, it was the first people that were going to have it. And then they were working with other companies. But Terry froze. Am I still frozen?
No, you're moving along.
Okay. All right. All right. So Pioneer. So let me back up. So BeatSource went to Record Box. I did a video on it, which strangely never really got any hype. To BeatSource. Am I still freezing? We're good. We're good. Okay. I was talking to BeatSource, and I said, "Are you going to go on Virtual DJ?" And they said, "Yo, Virtual DJ already has us in their application. We didn't even talk to them yet. They pulled it in, they got it to work, and they were just rolling with it." As people are saying in the chat right now, he said we missed half of that. Basically, uh, basically, Virtual DJ does whatever they want to do. So if there's a product or something that doesn't work with Virtual DJ, they will make it work regardless to if you have anything to do with it. Anyway, that's what I was saying.
Like I don't know, that company will do more with the resources they have than really about anyone. It's kind of
Because
incredible.
it's like two people
Yeah, like
that
well,
run everything.
it's yeah, it's two devs. It was one, and then they absorbed what was it? DJ. I think it was DJ Dex, maybe, or something
Mhm.
like that. It was like it was this really dope DVS app that was like done by like just one kid by
Mhm.
himself in his bedroom, circa like 2005, 2006. And what was crazy is that like it actually had really low latency. Like it looked, like it looked like an app from McKenna's bedroom, but it had like really low latency, had all the features of the big boys. Um, yeah, like a lot of like really robust MIDI support. And this was like 2004, 2005. And all of a sudden, like they get snatched up like around like 2008 maybe. And all of a sudden, like they just took off like a rocket. And, even though they hired exactly one more developer, suddenly it felt like they had 10. And yeah, otherwise, I think it's like two people who do mappings. Like they used to have Chris. I don't think he's there. There's Babis, who is like you put something in front of him, and like 2 hours Monster Energy drink, and like a hell of a lot of typing later. Like he will have like the full XML mapping for your controller, and you're like, did you just read the mini map and not even plug it in? Wow.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
See, now this
Don't.
this
Now you're
is now
seeing it?
where he looks pensive.
Okay, I'm going to. It just started happening. So let me refresh here. I'm going to put you on full here. Now.
It lets you do the 480p stream if you need to drop it. Oh, yo, shouts to IFTW, one of the greatest battle DJs of all time. Like, seriously. Follow him, like, please. He's just a beast. Shouts to Mixmaster G. Let's see who else is here. Yeah, now I get to be the guy who's running the show. It's my show now. Yeah.
If this is starting to do this freezing thing, I'm gonna go crazy. So I just refreshed it. The next thing will happen is I will literally restart the computer. Maybe it's a strange cache thing that's screwing up. But hopefully I'm good now. Am I
Actually,
good? Not freezing up?
so I discovered recently one of the best tips for streaming problems. If you have a Black Magic, set the output to 1080p 30 because the problem is by default 1080p. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah. There's no. I've been using the same setup for months, and then all of a sudden this week, I'm having problems. I haven't had problems before, so I don't know what's exactly it's causing it right now. It's not my internet. Everything's exactly the same. It's just for whatever reason, it's it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. Let's just move on and let's just believe that I look perfectly resolved and I'm crisp and clean because
Yeah,
that's
you
what we
look
have to
absolutely
work with right
beautiful.
all right, so yeah, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. I have two different companies right now that are trying to get me to use their products, so I'm going to give them a try also, and we're going to see. I'm to be honest with you, I'm trying to. I want to turn this into a podcast also. So there's one company that focuses on audio quality. So when you're done, you have like pristine audio for your podcast. Like this one, it's okay.
What's the what is it? I'm curious.
It is. Hold on, let me. I got to pull up my email again, and then I'll tell you exactly what it is. It is. Their advertisements have started to pop up. It is. Let me scan through all this Pioneer DJ emails. How dare you?
Yeah, we're terrible spammers.
Oh, okay. It's Riverside FM.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
They're a new company. Yeah.
I really want to talk about them later with you.
Yeah. So, but they've been focusing on podcasting, but they have just built their real time module. So now they have like a StreamYard. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, let me take a look at that because that's going to solve a lot of issues for me. So we'll see. Okay. So we should probably talk a little bit about the S7 because that's why all of these people are on here. Let's see on my Discord if people had any questions on there because I do want to give them the benefits. And let's see, are we live now? Yes, we are. All right, okay, so we have one. This is actually a good question.
Actually, you might want to do the wide view, just so if I'm switching.
You are correct. You are correct. All right. You mean not me? Not me, wide view?
Yeah, well, that would work if it was just my head. Yeah, that would probably be advisable to shrink it.
No problem. So Mad Live says if the S7 is just like the S9, which one would you recommend to get for someone looking to upgrade from using a controller?
That's a tough one because it's not the same thing at all. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, if you want to upgrade from a controller, controllers I think are complementary. Like anyone who's switching from a controller, keep the controller, get a mixer and turntable set up, because there's going to be a point when you want to use a controller or want to use a turntable or CDJ setup. I don't know, beyond that, like it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to cut, like the DJ 1000, it has the best jog wheels in our lineup on a controller. That and the XZ.
I agree.
If you want to get like something more economical, but something that is like pro, like SR2 800. If you want to have something like just for the bedroom, Flex 6. I just took over that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm
You're
good at that. Yeah.
And DJ Kalubi says, and we will talk about the S7, guys. We promise you. DJ Kalubi says DDJ 800 or DDJ 1000, and they're two different products. Even though they look similar, they're two different products. The jog wheels are different. The jog wheel sizes are different. The DDJ 800 has that feedback reducer though, which I actually love. But the 1000 is, in my opinion, the best controller, at least of last year and the year before. There's been nothing that has competed. Now, there is a Rain one that's right here, but they're completely different pieces of equipment. If anybody says DDJ 1000 or the Rain one, you can't compare the two. It's two different things. The 1000 is still the best jog wheel controller on the market, in my opinion. And there hasn't been anything to compete yet. And as you can see from the chat, people keep saying DDJ 1000. Yeah, and that is a crazy setup. This is Drew. Drew is all about. He spent quarantine making this setup happen. It's really, really impressive. Yeah. For all the people that don't know about the Discord, there is a Discord. So get on my Discord. I know that it's in the chat, so make sure you follow me on Discord because I am answering questions. A lot of tech questions get answered on Discord, specifically because if I'm not there, somebody else is on there and they can help out your problem too. It's not just me that needs to help you. Okay. So let's, oh God, look. This DDJ 1000 or SRT one, this is a software choice. If you like Serato, you get Serato, you get the SRT. If you're okay with using Rekordbox, which Rekordbox is a great program, then you get on Rekordbox. But nobody here can honestly say that the SRT version is better than the 1000 version. Okay, I'm going to flat out say that right now. Because the 1000 version and Rekordbox, they were made for each other. So everything that it does better, in my opinion, on the Rekordbox version. The SRT is fine. I have an SRT version and a Rekordbox version, but it's not like using the 1000 the way it was created. Okay, with the pads, with the pad effects and all of those things. Those don't exist on the SRT version. And it really feels like you're missing stuff. It's still a great controller, but it is not better than the Rekordbox version. The only reason why I have an SRT version is because I have other DJs and they use Serato. So I needed a way to be able to switch back and forth. But it's not better. It's not better. It's still good, but if you use Rekordbox and you use the Rekordbox version with the 1000, that's when you see exactly what the 1000 is capable of. In all honesty. Okay. Enough venting from me.
It's funny. We got Lady Beats, asking the spicy questions there. All right. So, the question was, would I prefer Serato or Rekordbox? And yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you like the, honest, real talk, background. I give a long-winded answer for everything. So I apologize, but, all right, so I actually went over to DVS with Final Scratch back in 2001. And then I switched fully to digital in like 2002 because my apartment was broken into, and like I had like no more vinyl. And I then went to Final Scratch, and then Final Scratch 2 and Tractor Scratch and all that stuff. And eventually I decided I wanted something new because now, no, like feature needs change over time. And I went to Serato for a little while, but I wasn't really into it. And I switched over to Rekordbox, and was on Rekordbox for like a year, even before I joined the company. And that was actually, and like, even though I kept, up with Serato, like, like I was a huge Rekordbox fanboy, like period, for cutting. And then with the DJMS 11, it's like, my job is to use what the customer is going to use. So it doesn't matter if I prefer Rekordbox or Serato. I have to have 100% awareness of both. And the funny thing is, like, I actually came to really like Serato again. And so then when the DJMS 11 came out, it's like I used both because they do different things on the DJMS 11, and same with the DJMS S7. And so yeah, like the answer about what I prefer, the answer is yes, because they're both awesome applications, and depending on what I'm using or what I'm doing, I will choose one over the other. But yeah, hopefully,
no, I think you nailed it
yeah.
right there. You'll choose one or the other. It's not one is so much better than the other that you can't use the other. It's no, this is better for this device because of whatever application you're using or whatever feature set is on the mixer. Like, if when I'm testing things out, okay, perfect example. So when the S11 first came out, Serato had Scratch Bank, okay, and it had a couple other features. The S11 just felt better using Serato, but when the S7 came out, it was virtually identical. So you could use either or. And Rekordbox is no slouch. A lot of people want to automatically or arbitrarily say that Serato is better. It's not. It's not. Serato does some great things, and Rekordbox does some great things. And look, in all honesty, even Virtual DJ does some great things, and Algorithms DJ. They all do. They all have their niches. But Serato is not like light years above Rekordbox. In fact, Rekordbox's file management is at the current time much better than Serato's. Like much better. The fact that like if I'm streaming, I can stream multiple modules. Like, oh, I'm going to stream Tidal. I'm going to stream Beat Source. I'm going to stream not Spotify, but what's the other one? The crappy one? SoundCloud. No.
Yeah.
I can stream all of those simultaneously. You can't do that in Serato. You have to turn one off and then turn the other one, or just toggle to the other ones. So there's a lot of benefits to Rekordbox, and and it feels a little lower in resources. Serato is kind of power hungry, where Rekordbox seems to run a little more efficiently. Also, okay.
Though.
Time.
Okay, cool. Though I was going to say that for people who are having trouble with Serato, especially if they have an older computer with an S11, I have to just like, in good conscience, I actually have to, I can in good conscience let this slip. Please, for the love of God, if you have an older computer, like say a 2013 MacBook, go into your settings, drop the frame rate to 30 frames per second in Serato, because here's the thing. You're outputting to two monitors. You're outputting to obviously your main computer monitor, and you're outputting to the S11. And the S11, don't get it twisted, it is a monitor. Like you have a screen, right, and it's it's outputting to a second screen through USB. And this is not exactly not resource intensive. Now here's the thing: even though the refresh rate of the DJI-MS 11 screen is 30 hertz, the frame rate's actually higher. I think it's like 50 frames per second, and then you just get 30 frames consistent because of that 30 hertz. but since you have the higher frame rate in the background, it keeps it smooth. But but the frame rate actually going out, I believe there actually is a link. So if you drop your frame rate in Serato to 30 frames per second, you will have a much better experience, and yeah, you'll be happier. Please.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, the only thing, Pulse is right. You can have mixed playlists, so you can actually add songs from your streaming services to your playlist, and they will remain there forever. That's a great, great feature. So that's one of my biggest issues with Serato is that I can't use if I'm setting up playlists like say my Beat Source playlist, and I got it to where I want it, but I have local files too. I can't pair them in the one folder. They have to be in separate folders, and that's always frustrating. So I end up having to play either all Beat Source files or all Serato files. You don't have that issue with Rekordbox, but Rekordbox doesn't allow for main folder music. So if you have a folder and you have tiers of things underneath them, like you say, I have hip hop folder, and then underneath it you have, 90s hip hop, 2000 hip hop, so on and so forth. If you were using Serato, all of those subset songs will appear in the top tier of your folders. Rekordbox does not do that. That's my only real issue with Rekordbox's file management. It's the one thing I do hope they find a way to fix, because that's kind of a issue for me. But that's it. Besides that, it's all great. Once you learn that and you learn, okay, don't worry about that, it's not an issue. All right. On the request list. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Okay. Let's talk about the S7 now. All right. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to put you in full screen so you can talk a little bit about it, and I'll chime in when necessary.
Yeah, please do, because it's always hard to know where to start. But that said, though, once you get me going with the question, I'll go off.
Okay, so let's give you an easy fastball. I guess not a fastball, slow ball. Yeah. What's the difference between the S7 and the S9?
A lot. I mean, all right. So here's the thing: the even though the S7 does have a similar lineup, or sorry, a similar look and layout to the S9, internally the S7 is a brand new mixer. It has better audio quality. It has the same output section from the DJM S11. Has the USB hub from the DJM S11. It has Bluetooth. It has loop MIDI. The layout has been basically kept the same, just because a lot of people have muscle memory that is sort of tied, to the DJM S9, and a lot of times people, for instance, will actually be, they won't even own an S9, but they'll use an S9 in a club, and then later on they'll buy it. So, of course, like, if you try to go and buy an S9 now, it's like you might be able to find a few in stores, but otherwise, it's like you might not be in luck. But with this, at least you have some of that muscle memory that carries over. But yeah, what's interesting, and let's just get this out of the way right away. People have been talking about either why isn't it named an S10, or why isn't it named an S9 MK2, or things like that. Here's the thing: the DJM S9 Mark II is the DJM S11. The DJM S7 was made to actually be an affordable product that also takes a lot of the improvements that we made over the last year and just kind of brings them down to a more affordable price point. I guess don't get so obsessed with that number 7, because the DJM 750 Mark II is in many ways a better mixer than the DJM 900 Nexus, and it's definitely better than the DJM 800. But we didn't call it a DJM 900 1.1, DJM 900 Nexus 1.1 when the 900 Nexus 2 came out. It's the DJM 750 Mark II. It's just kind of, I guess, where it sits in the lineup. Plus, also it's an odd number, so the S10 would be a really weird number in our lineup. But yeah, as far as performance goes, like in layout, right here you have 3x3 set of selects as opposed to a 6 here and 6 here. Now the big difference with that is on the S9, these effects buttons right here for hardware effects and these for software effects, you couldn't change them, or sorry, you couldn't change the software effects to hardware effects, and you could only use hardware effects or software effects. You couldn't use both at once. But with this, I can go from hardware effects to software effects to my MIDI loop to my MIDI loop 2, and then I can also do custom mixed banks. So like right now, I have a mixed bank, the hardware effect, the software effect. There are 3 MIDI loop effects from bank 2 and 1 MIDI loop effect from bank 1. So in that regard, the actual button complement here and what you can do with it is a heck of a lot more powerful than the DJM S9. Also, it has the magnifier from the DJM S11. So like that same lateral strength improvement that you get on the DJM S11, it's right here. Same cut improvements, you get those too. Yeah. I guess like
and the Magville fader is excellent. It's an excellent fader. Like I said in my video review, it's probably this version of the Magville fader is my favorite fader on the market right now. Besides the Inna fader, which I like a lot too. Carry on.
Yeah. Shouts out to Patrick and the Inno family. If I wasn't using a Magville, which legitimately is my favorite fader on the market, sorry, Patrick. I will say that the Innofader is my second favorite fader on the market. But yeah. Another really cool thing actually is when clubs exist again and we can actually, go out. One thing I've always thought one thing we've always been really good at is making it so you don't have to own the highest end product at home if you are going to a club that has the highest end product. Like for instance, if you are using CDJs at a club, you can buy an XZ and still get experience on that. With this, everything on the faceplate from the buttons down, that carries over 1-to-1 to the DJM S11. So like all the pad modes, like if you double tap this, it's still gate Q. If you hit, shift in the sampler, you're in scratch bank. All this stuff is the same as the DJM S11. So obviously, you have to, you have the screen area, you have the 4 decks, you have some things that you obviously still need to learn on DJM S11. But if you are doing just 2-deck mixing, you can do about 90% of what you can do on DJM S11 on this for like that 2-deck mixing style. So you can have this at home and work on a DJM S11 in the club and really not miss a beat. So
how is the sound quality on the S7 compared to the S9?
Well, I have to be measured because obviously I don't want to say that I don't want to talk trash about our own products, but I will say that the DJM S7 is really good sounding. It has more in common with the DJM S11 than DJM S9 audio quality wise. The DJM S9, like some people really like it, some people really hate it. It has a bit, I don't know, darker kind of sound. It's highs are a little bit rolled off. Bass is a little bit boosted. It sounds, it sounds, good on a big club system if you are not doing any EQing and your sound guy's not doing any EQing or anything like that. However, though, it's not what I would call neutral mixer by any stretch of the imagination. Whereas the DJM S11 is really good sounding and also very neutral. And very same with same with the DJM S7.
Mm-hmm. I will be that guy. The S9 always disappointed me when it came to sound output. It just never got as loud as some of the competing products. The sound was fine, but I felt like I always had to push it more than my other ones. I'm not seeing that with like the S11 or the S7. They are definitely the output is much better than on the S9. And the same, and it's almost like the same family of like the S9 and like the SX series. Like they were all just okay sounding, but then the DDJ 1000 came out, and there was a clear difference in the sound. And I think you guys have just found you're just it's not using better components, but you've just found a way to improve everything. So thank you for that, because that was an issue.
Oh yeah, well, it's funny because like I have this discussion with people all the time, and kind of going off on a somewhat related but also different tangent. Back when I started, a very very long time ago in a galaxy far far away, the like Scratch DJs basically had terrible sounding mixers, and if you were a mix DJ or like a techno DJ, and back in the day it was you were a techno DJ, there was you weren't an EDM DJ yet, like your mixers sounded much better, but you couldn't scratch on them, and so you kind of you took what you got and you liked it, like the O 05 Pro, one of the greatest mixers of all time. It wasn't a good sounding mixer. 07 Pro, not a good sounding mixer. TTM 54 was like the best sounding scratch mixer at the time, and it still sounded not nearly as good as anything that was available to the techno market. DJM S9 was obviously a bit of an upgrade, but what was really cool on the DJM S11 in development, one of the biggest demands that the DJs made was that they wanted to have the same sound quality as the 900 Nexus 2. And so that was one of the first considerations we took to heart, even before we got to like the fun performance things. And with the DJM S7, instead of just saying, okay, make it as good as an S9 and call it good enough, we tried to squeeze in as much of that DNA as we could for the price point. And it really does sound, pretty darn impressive for the money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Agreed. Somebody in the chat had mentioned why like the Rain one is more expensive with 2 channels versus 4 channels. Just to clarify, the number of channels does not equate to the cost of a product. If that were the case, the Flex 6 would have been very expensive too. It has nothing to do with that. Every company positions their products at a certain price point because of the quality and material and technology in the system. So whether or not something is expensive has nothing to do with the number of channels. And to be honest with you, I'm going off on a tangent. For most people out there, most people don't at me, but most people don't even need 4 channels. This whole thing about needing 4 channels is really just like a weird, I don't know, if you think you need them, but you start using and you realize you never use 3 channels. The only time you use that 3rd channel is for auxiliary input, or if you're using like the Pioneer, the SX 2 or 1, you needed it for a mic channel. That's the only reason most people are using 4 channels. But if it has a dedicated mic channel, if it has a dedicated aux channel, you don't need more than 2 channels. For most people. I'm not talking about everybody, but for most people. I mean, the S11, you can do 4-deck mixing, and you only have 2 channels. So, do you really need it? Okay. Anyway, that's it. Yep. I'm just a tangent guy today. That's what I do.
Oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, so just to rewind, Gas B, I think, was getting a little bit spicy. Yeah, like as far as like people choosing or not choosing Pioneer DJ because of the audio quality, honestly, it depends on who you talk to, because like the 900 Nexus 2 and the V10, they're incredible quality, sound quality wise. And yeah, like there are people who actually do prefer our sound. Obviously, it's a
Mhm.
preference, but I don't know. I guess I'm only saying this because we actually do care about sound. And yeah, please try out the S11. And like, if you think it sucks, that's cool. It's your preference. But you know, yeah,
I didn't hear suck. The first thing that caught me off guard with the S11 had absolutely nothing to do with the quality. It had to do with the flatness. So, because I was coming from a Rain 70, I mean, I own S9, I own a Rain 70, but I was using the Rain 70 for all my streams, and I noticed immediately when I put the S11 on that, like, even my booth monitor, it sounded different, and because it's a flat sound, and that's the difference. You can colorize your sound any way you want after the fact, but with like Rain products, there is a definite sound coming out of Rain products. Not bad, but it is a Rain sound. Pioneer opted to go with the flat, so you color it yourself. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But as far as like decibel levels and and fullness and richness, like all of that stuff still exists on both products, on the S11, on the S7. It's just a flatter sound on the S11. I don't think, like I said, but I don't think it's a problem.
actually, it's kind of related. So I'll just jump in from the annex. Ask for the headphone QEQ. Is it different from the 900 Nexus? So it's actually not EQ'd any different. But at the same time, though, like the original DJM S9 and the 900 Nexus 2, they do have a different headphone circuit. When you get into like the dark art of mixer voicing, which is just insane. Like like I'll talk to my counterparts in Japan, and they're the luckiest people ever because they actually get to interact directly with the engineers, as opposed to me. It's like obviously I talk to a few of them, but a lot of them only speak Japanese, so I have to kind of trust them. And yeah, like when they talk about when I ask questions and they come back with oh, this has different ceramic capacitors, or we change this or what have you. It's the most fascinating thing ever. But man, it's like these little tiny changes that you would never think about make a huge difference. One of my quarantine nerd projects actually was running every one of my mixers from us and the competition through tons of audio analysis. And man, it's really funny to look at what everyone actually does to their audio. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Somebody asked about the deck mixer. The deck saver will not work on the S9. The S9 deck saver won't work on the S7 because the pads are in different places.
Hey, DJ Deafman and then somebody else earlier. They mentioned faceplate chipping. We made a ton of improvements to the paint job, and so please, if you are one of the few, and I do mean the few, who's having an issue, please reach out to our tech support. We want to talk to you because, yeah, like for the most part, like there's no issues. Like my DJM S11, I have a prototype that I got back in March of last year, and then my S11 SE that I got just before launch, and I use them hours and hours and hours a day. Like part of my job is, I guess almost being like a scratch DJ cover band, and that's like, okay, somebody asked for something, so I try out their stuff badly. And so like I'm cutting on these products, and like at least, in my, tiny ass, room, like they haven't worn out. So if you're having that problem, please, reach out. Anyway.
Shout out to my man DJ Stress TV, Jetpack Bags, Jetpack Bags. If you're looking for amazing DJ backpacks and bags and trolley cases, look no further than Jetpack Bags. Anyway.
Hey, yo, Stress. If you still have my number, holler at me, man. Otherwise, whisper at me at ProFBX on Instagram. Because, dude, like, I was rocking 2 jetpacks for the longest time, man. I'm just saying, they are legit the best backpacks on the market. Buy them now. Yeah.
This is from their Snapline, the drop system.
Oh yeah, and by the way, also, they're a Southern California company. It's like they're, at least for me, they're local boys. It's a small company. Obviously, like I come from a weird place, being a pioneer DJ. Being from the big company, but man, support your independent companies as well. Support people like Jetpack, who are just, they're really, really passionate, and they make dope products. They make the dope backpacks. They make this like headphone case that's like the best headphone case period on the market. Anyway, sorry, I'm supposed to be here talking about S11. Sorry, S7.
No, it's okay. This is actually a good question, and I know Pulse mentioned it. Can you still apply effects to sampler? So the sampler button is gone. You can always still apply effects from within Serato, but you have to assign the sampler button, correct?
The
button.
Well, actually, so the way you would apply effects to the sampler on the unit is you choose your sampler routing. That is, you choose to go through channel 1 or channel 2. Now, if you go through the master, the funny thing is, the sampler, when you sign it to master on Serato, is a little bit weird, and that actually outputs both from channel 1 and channel 2 at the exact same time.
Right.
So, for instance, if you apply an echo, you will actually hear that echo on the sampler when you have applied to master. However, though, if you apply a filter, that won't actually do anything because you'll have the dry signal mixed in with the wet signal as well. But yeah, you can still apply effects. It's just that you're applying it from the channel as opposed to the button. And that was mainly just that was mainly a sacrifice so we could fit in other things like, for instance, Bluetooth and Loop Midi. So, yeah.
Which we should probably talk about, because I'm sure people are curious about that, about the Bluetooth module that has been installed. So let's talk about that.
All right. So, so you want to talk about Loop Midi or Bluetooth first?
I think Bluetooth is an easier one to get in and get out of real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bluetooth first.
Yeah. So, what's dope about the Bluetooth is that it's actually set up a little bit different than a lot of manufacturers when it comes to how they route Bluetooth. Most companies, they'll just route Bluetooth to the master, and so you have a volume and you can't cue it. What we do is we have a button on the front. You hit it. If you're listening on headphones, it has a very lovely Bluetooth beeping tone. And it's just routed directly to the master, which is dope for scratch loopers because, again, when we can have friends over, again, what's great is like you can have one person on each side and just be running table beats for 6 hours, and each of you is cutting on your own deck. But if you go into utilities, the very first option is actually your Bluetooth routing, and you can set it for master, channel 1 or channel 2, and what's dope about that is if you set it for either of the channels, you have headphone queuing, volume, EQ, all that good stuff. But what's also fresh is it doesn't take over the channel. It runs it in parallel. So like if you have a computer hooked up and you're using Serato record box and I don't know, like you're playing dinner music with Serato Pyro or whatever, and like you're in the back, like eating the shrimp cocktail and just kind of chilling. It was thing, and then you can walk up, hit play on deck 1 from Serato, and just fade out the Bluetooth from the volume on the front or your phone or whatever, and you don't actually need to switch the channel because it's already set up. So,
Yeah, yeah, and right, and as I said earlier, if for whatever reason you don't have your aux, somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I need you to play this one song for my mother. I put it on my phone. How do I get this to you?" You can have them sync up their Bluetooth and then just send it directly from there. So there's a lot of things. It's one way. People have been asking this question, like, can I send in, can I receive like from the microphone or from whatever? No, you cannot. It is a one way situation. So yeah, there will be no live talk shows with the S7, because I think that's where people were ultimately trying to get to.
man, like though I swear to God, I'm expecting one day to like I don't know be at Vaughn's and just have somebody like walk up and punch me because there's no more excuse for I don't know taking requests or whatever. And it's like, oh, I have it on my phone. Like that's like I've actually seen like YouTube comments like where people are like, wanting to like burn us at the stake because, the problem is that now people say they have it on their phone. Like, you have to lie and say, oh,
Right.
but I can't plug it in.
Sorry, this mixer you can't do that. They're like, that's the S7. You're like, why do you know this? Why is this a thing that you actually know? But it's only
Oh yeah,
it's only going to take one person to have that where they will tell all their friends, and next thing you know, everybody's going to be like, "Oh, what do you mean you can't play it? I just did it last week on this person," and you're going to have to be arguing with that.
man, like when the first Becky learns about it, when clubs are back, we're all screwed.
So I don't know if you mentioned this. I see 916 Junglist in the house. What's going on, fam? We talked about sound quality, but he asked if you're using NXS circuitry in the box.
Well, nothing's using Nexus circuitry but the Nexus 2, and the 900 Nexus used its own. But again, kind of going back to audio differences, like when you're voicing a mixer, you have to actually like have a target frequency curve in mind. But like you can have two mixers with the exact same analog to digital to analog converter, same DSP, same everything. But like for instance, like on like getting really geeky, like the V10, it has its power supply placed like in the lower center of the mixer, away from all the audio circuitry because of RF interference, for instance, things like that. Like the actual like art of voicing a mixer is so deep that you can literally put the exact same circuit complement into two mixers and they will sound wildly different. Now, on the other hand, if you ask, is it inspired by? Sure. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, 916. He's one of those guys. He's a tech guy. And make sure you follow.
Love those people.
Junglist. Yeah, he has a great drum and bass channel, but he also has a show called DJ's Not DJing on Wednesday nights, which is dope. And he talks all about the new gear, all about streaming issues and licensing and copyrights. Make sure you follow 916. Okay. Let's see. I think somebody asked a question. Yeah. Will Bluetooth? Okay. He says, will Bluetooth and toggle effects come to the S11 like the S7? Well, obviously you can't just firmware update a Bluetooth module into the S11. So that's never going to come to the S11 unless they make an S11 MK2. But will the toggle effects come to the S11 at some point? And you might not even be able to talk about that.
Loop Midi. What's the phrase that we used last time? Was it?
I don't speak on unannounced products.
Exactly. Like here's the thing. Like you could ask me are we coming out with a, really dope, pimped out pink Yugo as like, the ultimate like DJ hoopty car? And I will say, I don't speak about unannounced products because I can't talk about unannounced products. Like whatever we're planning on doing, it doesn't matter if we're doing it or not. I wish I could tell you about the future, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, let's see here. I don't think it's terrible advice. You should definitely follow him. Okay, let's see here if there's any other questions specifically. DJ Primo asked, but can you make the mixer wider? I think the mixer's fine. I think the width of the mixer is fine. It's smaller than the Rain lineup. It's a much thinner, narrower mixer. I think it's fine. I think it's the perfect size. As I've been using some of these smaller controllers with the 2 channels.
We do have a wider mixer. It's a 900 Nexus. 900 Nexus 2. Look at that. It's wider. We have a even wider one over there, the V10, which I'm not going to disconnect to, wave around the camera like, sillily.
Okay, so let's see here. So we got the paint issue going. I see the thread happening. So that's dope. Okay. We'll answer this one more time and then we'll move on to the loop MIDI. And Jorge Blanco asks, why no Bluetooth or loop MIDI on the S11? Because that is an actual question, considering that the S11 came out and only 4 months later, you've come out with an S7 and it doesn't have the same features. Like the Bluetooth, I get it, but like the loop MIDI, could have been something that you put on the S11, but you opted to not. So I guess, what's the thought progression? Because a lot of people saw my loop MIDI video on IG, or if they watched my YouTube where I kind of showed the demo, and people were like, oh, that'd be really cool on the S11, so maybe you can or can't speak on it. Mojack's DJ in the house, by the way. What's going on, fam?
Yo, what up, Mojack's? Oh, yo, what up, Cream? Yeah, so as far as Bluetooth goes, and loop MIDI in the DJM S11, people don't realize how long these products are in development for. Like, I joined the company, a bit less than a couple years ago, and the DJM S11 was already in development for, at least like a year and a half before I even got there. It was, drawings and stuff. But, then we, got the first prototype like a few months after I joined. The DJM S7, we were working on it, not long after I started. So when you're making a product, it's like first you have to specify it, and then, you go through that and you go through that. And eventually, like, you get to, a layout and a specification that, that you feel really strongly about. But then by the time that, you've started working on the next product, A, it's still like a, year and a half away minimum. But B, like, it's already too late to, add a lot of these things. So, like, what's funny is that, if you have a feature that you like, or there's a problem with a product, it's like it's not going to get addressed or added to that next product. It's going to get added to the product after that, because that's when you have both, and you can look at both and pick and choose what you want from both. So that's at least as far as Bluetooth goes. As far as loop MIDI goes, one thing that we really wanted to try to do is make it so you could buy a more economical mixer, but also have a feature that, like, you could use to F the big boys up. And loop MIDI is really freaking powerful. So I think there's actually something to be said for buying a lower cost mixer and having a feature where you can give the middle finger to that battle DJ who, like, even though, like, obviously, I would love to imagine that, like, all the people who use the S11 are as skilled as, like, IFTW or Prolifics. Like, there's going to be that person who has more money than sense. And there's a lot of power in being like, yeah, I have an S7 and I just embarrassed you. So, and features like Loop Midi help with that.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, come on, if you're a dope DJ, you could embarrass, me on a Rain 56. That doesn't necessarily matter much, but I agree with what you're saying. 916 Junglist, this is going to go down in history as the number one thing that I am sad about. I am sad that there is no native. Mojax will say the same thing. No native silent Q buttons. I'm never going to let Drew live that down. It is a sad day when it came out. And this is one of two products where we're like, okay, is there silent Q? No. So yeah, we were very sad about that.
Yo, real talk. What's hilarious is, like, especially, in the context of these two people, like, all right, if you get into the wonderful world of Serato mapping, and please do it, especially if you get an S7, please get into Serato mapping because the amount of stuff you can do on this is absurd. But you can do things like add silent Q and stuff if you're, if you do some research. And so, yeah, these two guys, like, they called up some nerd that they know and complained, and that nerd sent them each a customized silent Q mapping for their S11. So, so sad.
Yeah, I don't.
But that said though, honestly, silent Q is like we're always looking at what we can add to future products. So we do hear you. It's just funny coming from these two.
Well, and it's so funny. I think Mojax said it correctly. Once you have it, it's really hard to let it go. And a lot of people just don't have silent Q on their mixers or their controllers, so they don't see the value in it until you start using it, and then you're like, I can't believe I ever had a mixer without silent Q on it. Like, it's a great feature. I wish they would, and Serato could make this a mappable thing.
100%.
I'm not sure why it's not mappable yet at this point, but
if I can venture a guess, when Serato does something, like, even though it might seem like, they're just trying to arbitrarily, take away features, it's also actually possible to do mappings where you screw things up a little bit if you don't know what you're doing, especially, for instance, like, depending on, like, the output messaging from buttons, things like that. If you don't know how, the difference between momentary and latch when you're mapping. So, like, because of the fact that silent Q is a mute, I also wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't include it in mapping just because they want to make sure that it's, safe from a tech support standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't care. I like my silent Q.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So back to this one. So Loop, what are we on? We on Loop Midi? What are we on?
Yep. Loop Midi. Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So Loop Midi is basically like a DJ toolkit for whatever features you've ever wanted to have in a mixer. It's actually really funny because, like, some of the best conversations I've had with, like, remapping for a battle actually have been with IFTW. Like, that dude inspires a lot of thought process that, conversation that we've had, with just, like, things he said when he'd spoken to us. Just with, like, little things he talks about, like, with, what he's done with remapping. But, like, Loop Midi is basically lets you take the paddle section and map it to whatever you want. Now, by default, I think that we have some really cool default functions that are mapped to these, but you can make the paddles do whatever you want, which is really important because on basically every single Serato DJ product on the market that has paddles, you can't make these do something else. What's funny is that on the effects buttons, each of the effects buttons makes the paddle send out a different note, right? So in theory, you're like, okay, cool, I can remap that to like, instant doubles or whatever. But you can't because Serato, to avoid tech support nightmares, makes it so certain buttons cannot be remapped, like those effects buttons. So even though that effects button makes it so this paddle sends out a different MIDI note, like you can't change that. Whereas with this, we give you 12 buttons that each make the paddles send out a different message, and depending on what function you have it mapped to, you can fire off one function, or you can fire off every function at once. So it's not just firing off a single function, it's also a full-on MIDI macro. I guess kind of, showing that in action. And by the way, if it's too loud or too quiet, in a second, let me know. All right, so I'm going to go to my custom bank that I made, which is all the things, right? So I have it set for hot Q1, right? So now it's repeating a hot Q, right? So now so over here, I actually have it on an effect. This one is actually loop roll. So I just took both a hot cue and a loop roll and mapped them together. And I was able to suddenly do a remix that wouldn't be possible, even if I had all the hands. What's also cool is, and so this is kind of a weird limitation with Serato, but it's just based upon the insert effects. Like, let's say that I have this mapped to the same effects button as this, right? So I just hit those together, right? So I'm going to hit play, go back to hot Q1. All right. All right. So, All right. Well, I guess my remapping has gotten away from me, but oh, wait, never mind. It's that you. That's why I didn't set for repeat. All right. So now I have it set to actually fire off an echo every 2 beats. And this actually controls the amount of time that I turn down or have the effects, or I'm basically holding down the effects button virtually, or also just how long the knob is going for. So yeah, like you can fire off a ton of different functions, and it's really insanely powerful. So yeah. Otherwise, if I just want to do some really fun functions by default, like these are hot cues. And they're set for looping. I can actually jump between these two. So these right here, these are set for sampler. And it's set for looping, but if I loop it, it'll actually fire it off opposite. Yeah, if I go into my second bank, which is, kind of your more meat potatoes function here. This right here is set for key up. And if you set to repeat, it'll actually do an on beat key up, key down, sensor. This what, and by default set for mute. I have it set to actually turn on and off the effect. These are set normally the sampler and hot cue. I have these set for loop roll, so I can actually have it fire off a loop roll every 2 beats. Now, what's really funny is that, like, honestly, I don't think any of us expect 90% of people to do anything more than like just machine gun and air horn, but if you really want to get into like remapping it, you can make this mixer do things that are just straight up not possible on any mixer, and it's really cool.
I did this demo that I'll show everybody real quick. If you were on my Instagram, you probably saw it, but just again, I only had the mixer for what, a day and a half?
Yeah,
maybe 2 days, and I came up with this. Yeah, right. Just by messing around with it. So, here's the video. Take a look real quick. Sorry, I'm reading Drew's text.
Yeah. Yeah. You
you'll have to send that to me one day. We'll make
a
little thing.
I will send it to you as soon as we're done with the call. I fully expect you to laugh your ass off.
So back to what we were saying. So yeah, I only had this for 2 days, and not that it's not that it's necessarily something that people would naturally do, but if you can just take 1 or 2 of the features in Loop Midi, I think a lot of those things would be really, really useful to you just in your normal DJing. Like, I love the fact that I can drop a sample just from the toggles without actually having to go into my actual pad modes. As if I'm in cue points and I just want to drop my sample real quick, that's an air horn feature. Or having the sensor, which is the reverse, which you saw me do, but you notice that I did the reverse and still managed to play my Cleveland Rock sample at the same time. And what's cool about that, and so you could basically, if you really wanted to, you could have like a sensor beep sound also, or whatever, and then when you hit that sensor to let people know this is bad. But I was able to run 2 different effects at the same time. Makes things so much easier, especially if you're DJing at a mobile event and you're playing a song, you're like, oh god, I don't want to move over to my keyboard. I can just hit this thing real quick and censor something. Like, there's a lot of cool little like real-time, real-life workflows that you're going to get out of these effects. DJ Joshua Carl in the house, what's going on? Good to see you, man. But yeah, it's really, really cool features. Somebody asked earlier about DJ Flipside 33 sent me a message and asked, can you map the paddles to like Resolume and things like that outside of Serato?
The answer is yes. So what's dope is that basically you can map things to whatever you want. Like I know it sounds, like yes, obviously, you can map to whatever you want, but basically it's, even if you're connected to Serato, it still will pass the MIDI messages on to the next application. Now, there's a big catch. Since these have default mappings, you have to basically find like a dummy map, like a dummy message that you map to in Serato. Like, going into the MIDI mapping menu, like there's I don't know, like um I don't know, like let's see, like I'm trying to think of like there's actually
While he's
yeah,
while he's looking for that,
my brain's
DJ
breaking.
Stress. I know. I'm like we broke through. We broke the robot. DJ Stress. I love that shirt. I need a new one. That one's faded. I need a new shirt, man. And I actually got that. I got that from you at Namm last year. So I need a new shirt. So if you could make that happen, I'd be a happy camper.
Oh, okay. So now I remembered. So like, let's say that you map every single MIDI loop output to load effects bank A. So basically, it's just they're all reloading the effects bank, and which you're never going to notice because of the fact that it's just reloading an effects bank that you already have loaded, and it's doing the software effects. So if you're using hardware effects, you're not going to notice that at all, and most of the time it wouldn't even been interrupted anyway. But yeah, like that will basically make it so even though it's triggering a function that's just a dummy function in Serato, it will still also be outputting those notes. At which point, then go right ahead. You can map it to Resolume. I've mapped these to Ableton,
Which was what From the Annex was asking.
Yeah, like, and now it doesn't have a it doesn't actually receive a BPM in from Ableton. Like this sort of traditional like MIDI output BPM, but if you use Rekordbox or Serato and using Ableton Link to also synchronize that beats per minute, it will read the BPM off that. So the MIDI loop features, including the repeats, that would also work for whatever function you want because the actual repeat function is in hardware; it's not software, which is really cool because like I've literally mapped this to every single DJ software on the market, including all those that are not mapped. And yeah, it's insane what you can do.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I still to this day I still miss what was the Ableton link that allowed you to sync and play your samples from it. What was it? What was that called? You remember?
Oh, it was mixtape.
No, it was something else. It wasn't. It was one word. What was it? If you guys remember in the chat, drop it in the chat if you remember what that was called. The bridge.
Yes.
Ableton Bridge. That's right. Joshua Carl with the answer. Yeah, and From the Annex. That I was so angry when they pulled that. Like unbelievably angry because I saw that and that was the first day I was like, okay, this is the future. This is what needs to happen. And they pulled it. I think I almost left both of them at that point. I was so angry.
All right, so Cleve. All right, so you and I are gonna get together one of these days on a Zoom chat, and I'm gonna basically show you how to make the bridge. Basically rebuild the bridge in Serato now, and then you're gonna do an awesome video and make all your viewers very happy.
Cool. Let's do that. So go ahead.
Sorry. Spider has been asking a ton of questions. Yeah, like it's funny. I've actually hollered at him a couple of times when I've been watching him, but he hasn't noticed in the chat. It makes me real sad.
He's big time in it. He's got to say what's up to Lil Jon and people like that.
He's a very big man, Which is funny because like I'm doing this as a fan. I've never met the dude, but yeah, like I'm big ups. But anyway, though, what was it? The question that he literally just asked. It was after yeah, sampler effects. So in sampler effects for the S11, hold down shift, hit smooth echo. If you do that, when you hold down shift again, you're going to look down that and you're going to see that that button blinking. That lets you know that sampler effects is on. Now, the second thing you need to do, and most people don't do this, is if you go into the sampler routing, let's see here. So there's that advanced sampler routing, and you need to make sure that the sampler is actually set to a channel output or master, and it's going to turn the effects on for the sampler. But like a lot of people will just have it set on aux, and it doesn't work.
Well, it's interesting that you would say that because for whatever reason, it was working for me, and then with the new upgrades, it reset something, and I even struggled to find out about that the master instead of the aux. So I'm glad you mentioned that because that was one of my things. I'm like, I can't. My sampler is no longer working with the effects. So whatever the newest update, I think reset it, and I forgot how to do it. So thank you for that.
I'm just gonna have to holler at PJ, and he'll do an awesome video, and then bust a Jazzy Jeff, and we're all gonna feel real sad. And dude, yeah. All right, so Spider, first, make sure that your sampler is set to master or to channel 1 or channel 2. That's very important. Secondly, hold down shift and hit smooth echo. Now, when you hold down shift and hit smooth echo, it's gonna start blinking at you, and you're gonna think your mixer is about to blow up. That just means that your sampler effects is armed. If you let go of shift, obviously, like you're gonna have to put on an imagination hat because I don't have sampler smooth echo. But yeah, then it's when you hold down shift, it's gonna be blinking again, and yeah, your sampler effects are gonna be awesome. And yeah, Spider, you're not a jerk. You are just an amazing DJ who everyone loves.
This guy right here, Spider. Make sure that's set to master from your effects. And my S11 is over there, so I can't pull it either. Anyway, he's just trying it now.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So the MIDI loop is very, very powerful. For anybody that was wondering, because I know this is another, the effects are no longer on the mic channel. They've been replaced with the Bluetooth, so you no longer have echo effects on the mic channel. And is there a way to route your mic channel to be able to use the echo effect?
The answer is no. I'm sorry to say.
I mean, yeah. I guess you could technically route it. You could. Well, no, you can route it out.
Well, you can route it through. You can route it through a channel. There's, I don't know if yeah. I would love to say that there's a way, but the thing is, Serato needs to enable aux effects, which they don't always enable on most mixers. It's a feature request that we've put in, but again, can't speak about future products. So because it can't speak about future products or future features, God, it sounds like pizza. Obviously, no promises about if that will ever make it. But yeah, if we can find a way to enable aux effects as a feature request is been put in, also it's actually global on the S11 as well. You'd be able to route through Serato effects, but we're still actually examining technical feasibility. It's actually a really recent feature request.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand to a certain point because certain things that Serato uses feel like they're there to keep people continuing to update and or upgrade. the products, and that's okay. That's okay. Everybody's got a business to run. I get it. If you release all your products and just say it's all available now, it's going to limit their ability to generate revenue. So I understand completely why it is the way it is, but it can be a little frustrating. Jesus.
Well, hey Mark, Mark, how's being a pensioner going? Good for you. Cool. Wait, so all right, real talk. When I worked at another company, there was a product that a few people know about that I was blessed enough to be on the team to work on that, like, to this day, I still think is one of the best things I've ever been part of. It got 80% done and it was killed. I have a prototype over there. Someday somebody's going to do a story on it, and everyone's going to be like, wow, the world would be so different. It wouldn't have been. It would have failed.
Are you trying to tell me it's like the landfill with all the game cartridges in it? Like there's a mixer, there's a prototype mixer that would change the world in a box somewhere shoved away from 1984?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. No, it wouldn't have changed the world because, like, honestly, when I was at that past company, execution was not our forte. So I can tell you a million reasons why it would have failed. But anyway, though, the point is that, again, it was 80% complete. Feature set was, baked. Hardware was baked. Software, 80% killed right at the finish line. So, it's not just that, like, we don't talk about future products because we're trying to protect our revenue stream, because, like, people need to buy the gear they need to buy at the moment they need to buy it. And if you need something for a gig, it's kind of like you're going to buy the best thing available right then, regardless of if there's something, 2 weeks from now, because that's not going to help you with the wedding that you have tomorrow. Sure. But on the other hand, like, if we talk about a product that is a year away and then it doesn't come out, like, that's not a good look at all.
No phase. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had to throw that out there. No, but you're right though. You're right. There is a fine line between getting people excited for a product and disappointing people when that product doesn't come out when you say. So I totally get that, totally understand it. But I can also see the other side of it, where people are trying to hold on to their money and trying to make the best buying decision as possible. And they're going, okay, well, what, I have this so much money. I want to buy this, but this product has this feature and this product has this feature. How do I decide? So I know that does make it a little harder for people. I guess the main answer is, you just buy I can't even say buy the S11 and get all the features, because the S11 doesn't have all of these features. So you really are, like, struggling with it. But hey, I guess this is, it could be far worse. We could be arguing over the fact that nothing has what we needed to do. So the fact that we have two mixers that can do great things, and you just have to decide, these are, first world problems, in all honesty.
Actually, two things. First, Cleveland, if after this show, if you could do a love connection between Spider and me, so I can get them sorted out, that'd be dope.
I got you.
Sweet.
Wait, I'm like, I don't even have Spider's real phone number. All I got is IG. I got, it's weird. I have Scratch Bastard's phone number, but I don't have Spider's phone number. That's weird.
All right. Well, all right.
We'll get it connected though.
Yeah, exactly. Spider, after this, I'm going to shoot you a whisper. So look in the whispers after I'm off the show, and we'll talk. But like, here's the thing, like, also though, just kind of going back to what Cleveland was saying with the S11 versus the, DJM S7, like, the DJM S7 is, like, it's the coolest product I've ever been part of the team of. Like, the amount of ridiculous, absurd power that the thing has is incredible. And, like, most people will never even come close to scratching the surface. Um, and like the DJM S7, it also is really dope. I'm going to choose the S11 90% of the time. Sometimes I might
Yeah.
choose the S7. Um, but like there's a lot of power in being able to choose a purpose built tool. Like if you want the best sounding mixer on the, go with the S11 because it does sound the best. If you want like, and if you want, if you are a club DJ or open format DJ, there's a ton of features that are there that like will just make your life better. On the other hand, the DJ MS7, like when I want to get really nerdy, it's really fun. And instead of just like doing, a product and then a lesser product that is basically just the same thing as above, but with like half the stuff featured or stripped out and boring, it's like, there's a lot of power in just, releasing dope products, you know, at each price point that are not just like, I can afford this, I can't afford this, but like,
Mhm.
what's the best product for me?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think there's so many options out there nowadays, and not just from Pioneer, but just across the board. So you have a lot of choices, and this is a good time to be a DJ with all the products that are coming out. And all this does is really just stimulate growth, stimulate new innovations. Like the S11 um, has a lot of innovations in it. Prior to that, you had the Rain 72. So all this competition breeds innovation, which only helps us as DJs get better and better. And when you have things like the S7 that comes in cheaper than the S9 but has all of these killer features, it's a good place to be in. It's a good place to be in. And I'm happy. And I gave Pioneer a little bit of a hard time over the course of quarantine because they were a little delayed in all their products. So they got a little bit of a hard time, but they've released they've released 2 out of 3 products that have been great. And that's what matters. So
Shaking my head at
oh,
you. Shaking my head.
the battle mixers have been absolutely amazing. Uh, we'll leave it at that. Deafman asks, does the S11 have any? Do we have an AM mode in the S11? Any hidden Easter eggs?
It doesn't. But that said, though, the amount of things that
But
you
you
can
say,
do with it.
but you say that, but Drew has sent me MIDI mappings that make the S11 like a completely different mixer. So I think what he's going to say is, if you truly learn the product and truly learn how to MIDI map effectively, you can legitimately create your own Easter eggs, like nonstop.
Yeah,
It's that robust.
yeah, like exactly. Like you like what makes me kind of sad is that people don't actually learn, how to properly MIDI map in Serato
Right.
or Record Box, but especially in Serato, because like you can do that like that point click MIDI learn, and it's great, but you can also go into the XML and actually write the XML yourself, or just find mappings that have the features you want, to just cut and paste and assemble, which is like a lot easier, frankly, and you can do just absolutely absurd things. And I don't know, like, all right, so back in the day, when I was starting out, I got into the industry because I was modifying gear. There was this board back in the day, as is Phonics, that had the Mod Squad. DJ Focus, was like the dude on there who is literally just like, bust out your soldering iron, rip this apart. Like you can do this. And then, Jim Spree, who later on, became Jim Mazur of Native Instruments fame. He was on there, and then I linked up with him, And I was just a dude who was really sick of my gear not doing what I wanted it to do. So I was, opening it up and soldering and
Hmm.
just doing strange things. And then, I got noticed, and Jim got noticed. And that's how we got our first jobs in the industry. And like, what's amazing about now is that you don't have to bust out the soldering iron. Obviously, you can, for things like fader swaps, whatever. But like, you can do more than we ever dreamed of just with MIDI mapping. And
Right.
yeah, it's obviously it's a skill that you need to learn. But right now, we're all stuck at home. Like we're not going out and partying. We're not going out to clubs. So like, I see people like, just, you know, picking up like really dumb skills, that like, it's like, okay, that's cool that like, are the cyberpunk, champion, but like, you can learn a skill. Like people, learn live streaming. So it's like, if you tackle live streaming, learn MIDI mapping. I've created just insane visualizers in my spare time because I wanted to learn visualizers.
Hmm.
And they're controlled with my MIDI mappings. Um, yeah, like don't don't let the don't don't let the manufacturer be the limitation for what your gear can do. Um, take you know be a little bit of a hacker. Like take it upon yourselves. Like do a little bit of research and dream big and make your mixer do things that you want to do. Because the dope thing is, then like when battles happen again, like you can f up the next man because you can do things that they can't.
Right. Very true. Very true.
Sorry about
And
the rant, but yeah.
no, no, no. It's no, no. I think it's true. I think that most people. I think the reason that I have a successful YouTube channel is because most people don't really read the manual. They don't really understand their products. So they just, oh, this looks great, and they use exactly the way it's set up, how it's set up. They don't take the time to tweak it and get it to where it needs to be. So once you learn your products and, as you're saying, like really get in deep and learn the MIDI mappings and all those things, I mean, it's your system will be untouchable, and it'll do everything you want it to do at the touch of a button. Like I don't get into MIDI mapping like you do. Like I do the point and click, but on my ATEM,
Yeah.
I have to do the XML editing. Like that's just what you have to do. So it's the same concept, like exact same concept. But I think people get afraid that like they're gonna do something and screw it up, but you can't screw it up. It's a MIDI mapping. You just delete out the user profile and you're back to normal. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Um, so it's all there for you if you want to learn.
Yo, Pulse. Thank you for pointing that out, man. Pulse is a genius, and yes, it does work. So if you want to add software mic effects without going into without Serato, basically just get a VST host, whatever. I use Element. It's dope and costs like $2. Um, and out choose channel 5 6 as your mic output, and then run that VST host with your mic echo. Um, and yeah, just run it through there, and boom, you have an amazing mic echo that can be anything you want. And what's also like actually, if you want to hear how crazy things get, I see like the lovely ticker on the bottom of the screen there. Chris Carnes is going to be on. That voice of God echo that he has on his mic, that's actually like a custom Ableton patch that he's done on his mic. So,
Oh,
so
there you
yes,
go.
so
Okay.
you can do that on the S7. Yay! Everyone's happy. It's Christmas.
Video coming.
Yeah.
I might just cut this out and then post it into a new video. Uh, but yeah, so that's great. That's great. I think we're in the age now where there's not a lot of things, if it's software related, we can't get around.
Yeah.
Because of it. But hey, that's a good little thing, and Yeah, a little tutorial won't hurt anybody to make that little tutorial happen. Um, but so we've been on here for a while. Does
Yeah.
anybody else have any more questions that we can answer quickly before we move off? I think I saw one question up here. DJ Vertical asks, with modifying the XML, can you make it so the top 4 pads in roll mode are fixed values?
It's been a while since I've oh yeah, no, wait, yeah, no, you can. If you go into the XML, there you can do fixed values and you can do pretty much whatever order you want. So
69 beats in the house. What's going on, man? He asks, "What's outside of the simulation?" That's a very good question. I think the only thing outside of the simulation is me waking up in 2092 and saying, "Wow, what a weird dream I just had." You guys are all my little non-playable characters.
talk about dudes who work their mixer. Like, that guy does incredible things. Actually, he gave me a mini mapping challenge that I still need to finish up. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I get really inspired by the DJs that I get to work with because, like, I'm a nobody, and like, all these guys are just so incredible. And like, I don't know. When I die, I don't want to be known as like the smartest dude. I just want to be known as the most helpful, and this is a place to do it. So yeah,
I get that. So somebody has asked. So just throw this into the manufacturing notes. Can you bring back the hanger lip to the side of the mixers?
um,
Are they talking about the drill holes that are on the side?
no, it's basically like back in the day when you would actually have a bridge where you could hang it on the side of your cases.
Yeah. You could buy those little lips.
Yeah, like you can still get those for like the S9 and S11. I haven't tried out on the S7 yet, but yeah, there's that. There's Battle Bridge. Honestly, the big problem with it is that like when it was just turntables, it was not as much of a big deal. But now, depending on like what gear you're putting it in, like those lips actually can go above, or just as likely to go above the product as they are on the side. So it's simply a safer choice to not include them. But there are options.
Yeah. Spider says, yeah, an Odyssey, I believe it still makes, I think I still own one from Odyssey. It's probably sitting in my garage somewhere. But I never used it. I drilled it, I put it on, and it was like, this is stupid. So I stopped. Let's see. Okay, so Spider says, would love to know what other people have done with their MIDI mappings. Maybe we should create a MIDI mapping. We're going to create a MIDI mapping page community on my Discord. So people can go in there and share their MIDI mappings and all of those things. So let's do that, and we'll have Drew be the god of the section. So let's do that. Let's do it. We're gonna create one. So make sure you follow me on my Discord. Mods, throw the Discord link in. If you're on YouTube right now, if you watch the S7 video, the review that I put on, the Discord link is in the description. It's actually in all of my videos now. Make sure you follow up on that, and then we'll create a community for the MIDI mappings. Because honestly, Drew does some great work. There's one he's got called Contra Code. I know he's not going to pass that to everybody.
I can't.
But it's mind blowing. But we can at least get some generic ones that will definitely make your workflow a little easier. We'll do that.
How about if I throw up Instant Junkies mode?
There you go. That works too. Yeah. Yeah, that one's great. So he's got a mode right now that allows you to do instant doubles at the flick of a switch, and instant doubles forward and or the reverse ones, which is amazing.
So basically, you can do offsets with like 2 button presses.
Yes, thank you.
And by the way,
I know instant doubles, it was already there, but yeah,
yeah,
offset. So basically, you know how you go instant double, you push the record forward, and now you're doing the offsets. He's got it set up to where at a flip of a button, it automatically switches to the offset.
and actually was. By the way, I'd like to point out that Melody actually named it Insta Junkies mode when I showed it to him. So it technically is Beat Junkies approved.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? I think we'll do a push. We're gonna do a video, and maybe we'll use the Instant Junkies as the example, and then we'll shift everybody to the Discord. But yeah, okay. There we go. Yeah, we got something happening here.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right. So
by the way,
go ahead.
Sorry, really quick. I do actually want to give a shout out to somebody earlier in the chat because, like, all right, when I met Cleveland last Namm, it was last Namm. That's kind of freaky to think about.
I know.
I totally fanboyed out because at the time, him and Mojax were my two favorite reviewers, and now there's a third. And it's Cool Hand Lex from Decademics. It's a channel that's just starting on YouTube, but they do really, really amazing reviews, and they're building up that audience. So if you could do me a great personal favor, go, after this, go on YouTube and also follow Decademics because they're really, really good. And, Cleveland has to start somewhere too.
How do you spell
all right, guys, it's like deck, and then it's like spell academics, but like with a deck.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yo, what up, Shortcut?
All right, let's hit that subscribe. Yeah, 291 subscribers. I'm gonna post the link up in the chat. All right, there we go. So hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Shortcut in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I still owe you a video. I'll post that video in my Dropbox today and send you the link. So by the way, is anybody Shortcut Spider? Anybody doing Namm stuff this week? I'm curious to know if you guys are doing any Namm stuff. Because I know, the big guys are on the Pioneer site, but Pioneer is actually the only site that I've seen, as far as Namm is concerned, that's actually really doing performances. Everybody else is just doing, product reviews. So I'm curious to know.
And we got Analyze on the S7, Melody on the S7, Scratch Bastard, and the Magnificent Jazzy Jeff on the S11. Was it Roger Sanchez and James Hype on the CJ3000? I mean, it's good. It's good TV.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that's today. In fact, I think we missed Analyze, but you can always catch her on the replay. That's the only good thing about. I think that what they should do next year is do something very similar to allowing for live viewing for people that can't come to Namm and maybe want to have access. Maybe that's a paid fee for that one, for the online streaming or whatever. But yeah, that would have been really cool, and then people can see it later on. So yeah, Spider. Yeah, but you're okay too, man. You're okay too. All right. So okay. So I think we've nailed the biggest parts of the mixer. And I think for most people, and by the way, somebody asked what the price was for the mixer, $13.99 for the S7. So it's an excellent price point for this it's professional mixer. I mean, you're looking at the S7 or you're looking at the S11, and the good thing about it is it's not just a price reduction, which means cheaper product. It is just a different product with excellent features on its own that stands on its own at a good affordable price. So $13.99 for most people who are looking at mixers. That's below most of the most for the entry level, not entry level, but just to enter into the market for premium mixers. Um, Zachary says, "Do you think the CDJ 3000 and DM7 is a good setup?" You can look right there. Drew's that's what he's rocking with right now.
It's
So yeah.
like the CJ 3000 goes great with everything. It's kind of like it's like the Trader Joe's umami powder. Um, like I mean, I literally swap between these and the turntables every other day. Partially for work and partially just because I love both. But yeah, um, I don't know. I have yet to find a mixer that the CJ 3000 doesn't go well with.
Right. Yeah. And with the USB hubs, you got enough power to power everything. So the USB will power your phase without any additional contraption. And it'll be even more impressive when phase finally goes HID mode, because technically you should only have to plug your phase into your hub, and that's all you'll need. And then, from the mixer right to your computer. So that should be absolutely amazing when hell freezes over and phase releases an update. But it's coming. It's coming. It's taking a while.
Sorry, was it M4 asked about the 4-deck. You can trigger the sampler with loop MIDI, and it'll trigger like on beat. But at the end of the day, it's not the same as the 4-deck mixing. The 4-deck mixing on the S11, the DJM S11, beyond like things like Smooth Echo, which is the greatest thing ever. The 4-deck mixing is really where the magic happens, because you can use that for offloading decks, like just playing 2 decks and you just throw deck 1 into deck 4, and then just throw the next track into deck 1, so you don't have to like choose which song you're gonna fade out to load that next song in. Or you can do the you can do dual deck, and you can actually beat juggle 4 decks. It kind of goes back actually to that whole thing about like the DJM S7 is it's a very lean mean machine, but like the S11 again, the S11 is the S9 Mark II. It's the Rolls Royce. It's the Lambo. Yeah. It's just that sometimes I don't want to drive my Lambo to the supermarket. I might want to just like bust out my Toyota. So.
He just called it the Toyota of mixers.
I drive a Toyota, dude. I am a Toyota fanboy. So there, so I'm not dissing Toyota.
Gas by Guidance says, "Can the hub on the Rain 70 power phase as well?" Okay, I'll answer that. And I'm going to say this. It depends on who you ask. Now, I have gotten my phases to be powered by the 70, but it requires that extra. There's like a little power bridge that you can buy off of like Amazon for like $5, and it just like, I don't know exactly what it does, because I'm only still running the one cord in. If I run the one cord in, I can get power to my phases. If I use the stock USB that comes with phase, it just turns off and turns on the whole time. So the bottom line is this Rain 70 has 2.5 volt USBs, where the S7 and the S11 both have 5 volt. So you're getting better power coming out of the bridge. It does work on the 70. It just, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it. Let's just put it that way. Like when HID mode comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't translate power and data into your mixer properly. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, there you go.
I can tell you I've used phase successfully with my S11 and S7.
I haven't had any issue with the Pioneer products at all. It's been great. Okay, let's see. 916 says we'll end with this one, and then we'll see who we're gonna raid in a minute. But 916 Junglist says CDJ 3000 and HID with record box loses some functionality compared to ProLink or export it to USB drive. Not sure how many people use that config though.
They're very different modes. Because like Record Box Performance mode was meant to be a very computer first feature, first set, and so it's like it's made for somebody who's coming from like the turntable DVS paradigm. Record Box export mode, which is you either use a laptop plugged in or just export the keys. It really shines when it comes to library management and some other features. And then of course, like the whole Pro DJ Link thing, so you can get into craziness like show control. But yeah, it's like what you lose, you also in one side, you also gain in the other. We've gotten better at achieving closer parity between the two, and I think that's going to improve over time. But yeah, that said though, Pulse Pulse is in charge of Record Box in the States, so yell at him.
There you go. There you go. So the question is, do we want house or hip hop? That's the question.
What kind of house?
But like deep house. Bass driven, dope, cool vibe. Put it in the chat, guys. Put it in the chat. Sure, it wasn't 916. You're a complainer, man. That's what you do. All right, Diamond saying deep house. I can't do snapback DP sound. Snapback's been going for 30 minutes. They'll be done in half an hour. So if we had stopped earlier, then yeah, I would have done that. But yeah, not today. And I rate snapback a lot. It's I'm getting a lot of house people. So that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go house. And that's fine. We typically everybody's playing hip hop. So we're gonna move over to somebody who is actually really, really good. You guys all know her. But Miss Ninja has a huge palette of house. That's actually her favorite style. So we're gonna go ahead and raid her, because she did a deep house mix or house. Like I don't know all the names. So if I say deep house and it comes back and it's not deep house, don't get mad at me. But she was on Serato, and she was on there doing a mix, and I was absolutely impressed by what I saw and heard. She knows her stuff. So we're gonna set this raid up right now. You guys know what to do. Make sure that you hit those wake ups emotes, and also give a shout out to Mr. Drew Bach from Pioneer DJ for putting on an amazing demo. It was a great time with you. Thank you for taking the time to be here and show people what's great about this mixer. I appreciate you. So
I appreciate you. Like, especially in this day and age, the free press in every pillar is more important than ever. And yeah, like you guys tell people how to spend their money. And yeah, like that's a big responsibility. So thank you.
Gotcha. All right, guys, we're heading over right now. I see the timer clicking away. Make sure you're on for Monday. We got Chris Carnes on Monday morning, and then we have Caper Official on Wednesday. So it's going to be a dope couple of shows. See you soon. Peace. All right.